Because that's just the power of love, and that's the power of Real Deal Media. Exactly. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Real Deal Media Live. I am your Real Deal Media host here live, Dean Ryan. Yes, it is. It's Thursday, I believe. It's college night. It's the most infamous night of Real Deal Media's schedules. And tonight's show consists of, if you're new, a kind of a laxed environment as all the college kids, meaning us, well, we don't have class tomorrow because we have it off. And so we're going to go buck wild here tonight. But that really consists of live call-ins. We're going to be peering through the live chats as we are broadcasting live on the Real Dean Ryan over there on Facebook on the so-called travel page, as well as Dean Ryan TV on YouTube and Rumble, the incredible platform that is the alternative to censorship, or it was until that changed. But anyways, joining me tonight is a man who you might have seen in the intro. He is, he's so good. He turned down the role of Doc Brown to Back to the Future. Can you believe that? He is that good. And he also turned down the role of Streetcar Named Desire. He let Marlon have it. Yes, he did. And I'm talking about the greatest thespian of our time, the one, the only, the true crooner, and the cinematic classic himself, Jim Fetzer. Jim, welcome.
Dean, do you know when I was like 9 or 10 years old, my mother and my to-be stepfather took me and my younger brother to a double feature at A Place in the Sun and A Streetcar Named Desire. And that was the first time I saw a film, and I thought that was what the world is really like. It had a profound impact on me. I think maybe subconscious, but those two films, Dean, those are not for little kids. I mean, really.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. What were they thinking?
I love with Elizabeth Taylor, I mean, I thought she was just
She's one of the classic beauties of all time. And Jim, I mean, she's right up there, probably the best. You probably, too bad you never had a love scene with her and you turned down the role. Your loss. Anyways, Jim, how are you doing? A lot of people have asked about you.
I think I have more genuine affection for Marilyn, Dean, actually. I had more genuine affection for Marilyn. I thought he was a more real person.
Of course. Anyways, like I was saying, how are you doing, Jim? A lot of people asked how you've been. A lot of people want to get your take on what's happening in the world. A lot of action we've had this week, haven't we?
Yes. Well, we've had a little family catastrophe. My wife fell and broke her shoulder. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been looking after her just the way she has looked after me in the past. So, I mean, how can I complain, right?
When did this happen? How?
Well, it was about 12, 14 days ago. We had a daughter. One of our daughters lives in Bloomington and has a dog and with a steel cage. And the cage collapses. It was in the guest room. And Jan had gone into the guest room and forgot the cage was there and tripped right over it, hit her head on this very heavy. We have this Amish-made oak furniture and the bed between the head and the bed. I mean, thank God she didn't do more damage. She got a big lump on her head, but she broke her shoulder. So it was kind of, a lot of activity in the house, getting her in the ambulance, the whole bit, going over
I'm sorry to hear that.
Nearby hospital. Yeah, but she's
very sorry to hear that.
She's recovering, Dean. We're well on the way to mending.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry to hear that. Everyone, I'm sure, out there sends their condolences as well. And Jan, I know Jan well. If you don't know, Jan and myself, we did shots of tequila just a few years ago. Shot after shot, and she beat me. She beat me. So my point is, she's a tough cookie. Well, so, and you got to be a tough cookie to be married to Jim Fetzer. That's just the rule.
Since 1977. We're 48 years.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible. So much has been going on, we'll make a card for Jan and get it sent to her as soon as
Very
possible.
nice.
But yes, in or people are already asking about your legs.
My legs?
Lena Star Moon on Rumble says Jim turned down the role of Streetcar Named Desire because he had better legs than most.
Was
That's the
that's
rumor. That's what we heard
not
about.
talking
In
about
fact,
when I
there's
won yeah, most athletic ladies on the
yeah,
cruise? I mean, that's so funny. I'm
yeah,
glad I even
there's that
mentioned
one.
that, Steve.
Yeah,
As my
yeah, that's
daughter
true.
just said jokingly, they're gonna have this, contest among men on the cruise and that I should enter. She never imagined I'd actually do it, much
No,
less win
no.
most athletic at legs, they're not quite on that order,
Jim's so humble. He's so humble, but yet he sends me these photos in the middle of the night just to be
There you
bragging.
go. There you go.
Jeez, there he
Wow.
is. That's he used to teach class that way. That's how he used to dress. That's amazing. Okay, thank you for that. But yeah, a lot has gone on. The Epstein files have been the talk of the town. The Epstein files have been the talk of the town. And needless to say, and just for the record, Jim and myself, we are not in the files whatsoever. So we want to put those rumors to rest.
Mean.
You can't find us. But a lot of people have been talking about retribution, Jim. And what do we mean by that? Let me tell you about this, just a little bit about this first, and then we'll get everyone's take on it. Well, yes, I mentioned in the Real Deal Politics segment last night that Trump was plotting, or an insider official of the Trump administration made the claim that there will be retribution. Yes, there will be retribution. And what does that entail? What does that mean? And it means a lot of things. Well, he's now making the claim that it's going to be punishable by death. Some of the consequences that have stemmed from these files. As now Trump floats the idea of that. And Jim, I'm sure you're well aware. Oh, Jim's brother is here. Jim, how are you
One of
doing? Or which Jim am I talking to? Go ahead,
Can
Jim.
you how do we get rid of one of them, Dean?
Jim, I can't choose between you both. We all love you the same, you and your twin. Okay, well, we'll get rid of that guy then. Okay. Hold
But I
on.
got
We'll get back to you in a second. It's a lot of it's Jim Fetzer night here tonight. Wow. It's just incredible family he has there. Well, anyways, like I was saying, back to the punishable by death. But yes, Trump is now floating the execution for Democrats who urged soldiers to disobey illegal orders. This could be part of the retribution. Or isn't? Well, now that's just the case now, as President Donald Trump suggested that 6 Democrat lawmakers who put out a video, which we shows you last night, urging military members to, quote, refuse illegal orders were guilty of seditious behavior punishable by death. Yes, he did say this in a stunning Thursday morning Truth Social post. Now, the video, which was shared by Elisa Slotkin, featured appearances from not just by herself, but Mr. Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona. And if you don't recall who that is, that's the gentleman who whose wife Gabby was a senator and was shot. We'll have to revisit that with Jim in a second, and a few others. They said they wanted to speak directly to members of the military and in the intelligence community, that the American people, quote, need you to stand up for our laws and Constitution. Don't give up the ship, is what they were saying, and disobey unlawful orders. Well, because of that, well, Trump has now said it's called seditious, quote, seditious behavior at the highest level. Each of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. We won't have a country anymore. An example must be set. President DJT. Wow, this could very well be the retribution that Trump was talking about. Jim, what do you think about that? Is this due to the Epstein files, or is this due to just plain old fashioned sedition?
Well, something very strange is going on here, Dean. Uh, According to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, you are obligated to not obey unlawful orders. But, I think I may have to drop out and come back in. There's something very odd going on here, Dean. I take it there was some Marines who allegedly left their post guarding an embassy. Odd, very odd.
Yeah, it is. You should be okay now, Jim. I fixed you. Okay, yeah. So say that again. You think it's some Marines that left the base?
That's what I was heard. I was just discussing this earlier this evening, but I haven't read the stories that Marines at an embassy had left their weapons or were asked to, perhaps by Democrats, to leave their posts, which would be subject to court martial. And under the circumstances, the penalty could be serious.
Interesting. Interesting. We have people who are talking about this now. We have well, we have people that are saying they agree with. We have some people saying they agree with Trump. Yeah, I mean, is that even really feasible? Is that realistic that anybody would be held for sedition? I mean, haven't we heard a lot of this? This jargon before over the years. I mean, does anything really happen?
There's something very damn peculiar about it, Dean. I agree. I need to dig in deeper into the details, but there's something very strange going on here.
There's something strange in the neighborhood. I agree with you on that one. Okay, so okay. Oh, right there, Doc Brown.
I think you may have I think you may have fixed it. I don't hear the echo now.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I don't think I heard one too, Jim. That might have just been your a quagmire of a moment. Well, so yes,
On the other hand, I'm not seeing you. I'm not seeing you. I've lost the image.
Okay, Jim, we're gonna have you. We're gonna have you come back in as this is what we call musical StreamYards, and Jim's playing the game. I forgot that's what we were playing tonight. He's so full of surprises. He is. Well, continuing as Jim comes back, and he'll come back when the music starts. Well, now, in addition to that, and we'll get to the Epstein, I almost said the Trumpstein files, but in addition to that, you might have heard about the funeral of all funerals that took place. That's the Dick Cheney funeral, the man who was the true inspiration behind the Penguin over there in Batman. Yes. Well, he had a funeral, and it was eerily similar to the funeral of George H. Walker Bush. That's right. Now, Bush, Biden, and former vice presidents themselves have honored Dick Cheney, the man who was the mastermind behind 9/11. Yes, we all remember those classics of "The orders still stand. Did I tell you otherwise?" he said to Norman Mineta. Who can forget that classic? And the true takedown of the Pentagon with his friend Don Rumsfeld, the man who gave us that quote of "We don't know what we don't know." Yes, a wonderful quote. Well, now everybody seemed to have been at this funeral, except for two. That's Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, who were snubbed from any invitation to the funeral itself. Well, that's right. Political figures across the aisle gathered just earlier today, over there at the D.C. Beltway for the former vice president himself, the megalomaniac Dick Cheney, the father of the little Cheney, Liz, who was sending off a key figure of the pre-MAGA Republican politics, who recalls. Well, the funeral, which was attended by two former presidents and all living former vice presidents themselves, even Dan Quayle, who can forget that rare oddity? Well, was a bipartisan kind of an event whose Washington dignitaries, yet with the notable absence of two of the country's current leaders, were all gathered in one place. Yeah, that's right. Neither Donald Trump or JD attended the service, and they were not even invited to the funeral reception. Now, according to a source who's familiar with the funeral, now Vance said that Thursday that the former vice president, the insider said, well, the JD was, quote, a guy who served this country and wished his family all the best in this moment of grieving. Well, Trump has not publicly expressed his condolences or even commented on Dick Cheney's death. Kind of in closing, the Cheney in case you missed it, Cheney received a full military honors at the invitation-only memorial service at Washington's National Cathedral. Now, former presidents Joe Biden and the man who plays him, and even George Walker Bush, George W., and former First Ladies Jill Biden and Laura Bush attended, as well as former Vice Presidents Kamala Harris, Mike Pence, Al Gore, and Dan Quayle were there. And it even concluded with George W., who gave a eulogy of his former vice president as a consummate public servant who could be relied on, who, quote, lifted the standards of those around him and made sure he got the job done and really executed an incredible event like 9/11. Jim, you want to give your thoughts on the former Vice President Dick Cheney? I know this must be a hard time for you as you have sent your condolences spiritually through prayer. You want to say a few words about the fallen president, vice president, that is?
The guy was a scumbag, Dean, and he was for Halliburton, first, last, and always. He didn't give a shit about the American people. He was a brute. He was instrumental in the death of Paul Wellstone. He threatened Paul. He said if Paul opposed him on Iraq, that there'd be severe ramifications for him and for the state of Minnesota. He arranged for him to be taken out in a small plane crash. They used EMP to do it, drew the plane off course 2 miles south. It happened just 60 miles north of my office on the Duluth campus, University of Minnesota. I was all over this case. I published 5-6 articles about it in the local alternative paper. I was on Coast to Coast after the very first one. It appeared a guy named Ian Punnett was guest hosting and thought he could debunk me, but I already knew too much about the case. I wound up publishing a book, American Assassination, A Strange Death of Senator Paul Wellstone. I flew an expert, PhD in electromagnetism, John P. Costello from Australia. We're tramping around in the snow in 35 below zero, picking up charred pieces of the wreckage. This was a very bad guy. He was also clearly a pedophile. You read the book Transformation of America, it's going to scare you witless. None of the girls want to have anything to do with him.
Well, Jim, I must say you're handling this better than I thought you would be able to. I just thought you'd be in pieces about this, but you have that courage to get through this national tragedy of such a loss of a vice president. I totally agree. But speaking of Ian Punnett, I don't know if you're aware, Jim, we lost Ian Punnett late last year, midway of Coast to Coast. He's no longer with us. There's another death to be said. But yeah, a lot of people are talking about this.
Ian's kicked the bucket. Is that fact?
Yes. Yeah. He's no longer with us. He died. Yeah. Last year.
Yeah. Well, he was clearly out to try to minimize all the results I had. The plane was like the Rolls Royce of Air King 100 of small planes. The pilots were well qualified. There were 2. It only required 1. The weather was good. Well, Bitzer went on and said the weather was at fault. They closed the airport. What's that tell you? But they closed the airport after crashing to make sure there was nothing about the airport that was involved. The FBI was there in so fast, Dean, they had to have left Wisconsin. They flew to Duluth and then drove up there at the same time the senator's plane took off. In other words, they knew what was going to happen. They were going to be there to cover it up.
Jim, here's two more factoids about this funeral I find very interesting here.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, number one, and Rebel Mama, this was brought to her attention, and thank you for sharing. She said the following: "No American flag on the coffin." Okay, and it was a wrinkled beige thing. She says a wrinkled beige thing. Are you sure it wasn't the American flag and it was just a little, unwashed? Maybe. Okay, but maybe not. And then here's another spellbound of a notice here. This is from Rosemary Mack. Thank you for joining us. She says that Obama was not there. Interesting in how they did not even mention that in the article, Jim.
Yeah.
Yes.
I heard neither Obama nor Trump were there, and of course JD not there, and Big Mike.
Big Mike was not there. Yeah, that's true. I was
What
going to
happened to
say
the
that.
film? We were supposed to have that film out already, Dean. What's happened to it?
I think it's being censored. It's definitely being censored.
Oh,
Okay.
I have a doubt.
Yeah, it's a real shame.
Yeah,
It's a real
Obama's
shame
going to
that.
go all out to
Yeah.
protect
Why is he
Michaels.
not there? Why is he not there, Jim? Why is that?
That's a good
That's
one. That's a good
yeah.
one. I can't answer.
Okay.
Trump.
So yeah, he's not there.
Liz Cheney was such a critic of Trump. She was involved in the January 6th fabrication, claiming he'd done all this bad stuff when he hadn't done anything at all. There was no incitement. There was no insurrection. It was an FBI. It was Nancy Pelosi. It was Chuck Schumer. I have no doubt that these bad people were all involved. Liz Cheney, for sure, in the
Yeah.
fake January 6th event.
I think he has 2 daughters. He has 2 daughters. Okay, so that's what's going on. But speaking of Obama, and we're going to cover the Epstein and everything soon. The closer we get to the midway through here.
Yeah.
But speaking of the long-legged Mac Daddy, well, former President Barack Obama. This is coming out of Politico. Get this, is now embracing his role as mentor in chief, huddling with nearly 36 freshman House Democrats at the Capitol. So that's where he was today at a Wednesday event hosted by former Speaker Nancy, the indentured servant there, Pelosi. So he is around, but oddly enough, he did not go to this funeral, which is very suspect. It seems to be that he's now trying to energize the new freshman Democrats. Why, I don't know, because they're going to take the what's it called, the midway elections, midterm elections.
Midterm.
Yes, midterm. So that's where he seems to have been last night.
Yeah.
Now, as for that, as the world is distracted, especially Americans, get this now, the feds are taking a sweeping advantage, an imperialistic way of Americans. Look at this right here, Jim. This is what we have to look forward to. See, we knew something was going to happen because of all the migrants that were let in, but look at this. Now, Border Patrol is monitoring U.S. drivers, detaining those with suspicious travel patterns. That's me. I got detained last summer. Monitoring millions of Americans drivers nationwide in a secretive program to identify and detain people whose travel patterns it deems suspicious. Predictive intelligence program has resulted in people being stopped, searched, in some cases arrested. That was me. Suddenly, drivers find themselves pulled over, often for reasons cited such as speeding, failure to signal, the wrong window tint, or even dangling air freshener blocking the view. So another overreach. We were wondering what was going to happen due to the invasion. Well, this is it. We saw this new invasive technology, and they're not necessarily going to tell us. But as we're all talking about Epstein and the Dick Cheney people, this is what happens when the federales overstep, when we're not looking. See, Jim?
I think you're right, Dean. I think you're right. They're increasing surveillance, and they're going to use every technique they have available to do it. I do think the way they're handling the snaps thing, I don't know if that's on your agenda, but having everyone re-register is a good idea. They got 500,000 who are double dippers. You got 5,000 dead. I mean, it's a good way to tidy things up with regard to that food stamp program, which I endorse. I mean, the program's a good program. Let's just get rid of the corruption and the graft.
Well, what I think the problem with it, the technique is it wasn't really explained what they're trying to do. The messaging was terrible. If they're trying to look for bad actors who are on the SNAP benefits, then explain that. If they're trying to look for fraud, then explain that. It's just to pull it away with no explanation, where you're giving carte blanche to the other side to create the narrative of why it's happening. You know what I'm saying? So it was bad messaging, indeed. But I agree with you on that one. Here we have Nigel Dyer, who says these are all actors we are watching. There's a truth behind that. I mean, look at these actors right here. Look at those guys. Yeah, you're right about that, Nigel. You're watching actors right now. So good observation. Thank you for that, Nigel. Here we have Anita Moore. Thank you for joining us. She says, I almost said revolute old programs, reevaluate old programs. Yes. I think a reevaluation, I would say a rejuvenation is a better term to go with, but you're absolutely correct on that.
I think that's
Here we
what
have another one.
Doge was doing, the Elon Musk thing to clean things up. I don't know why he and Trump had that falling out. I guess they've had a reconciliation. Maybe it was all staged just for dramatic theatrical effect.
There's a lot of theatrical things. We have the Egyptian princess as Mr. Fetzer with a lot of love. Okay. And look at that doggy she has. Who's that dog?
Cute.
We love that dog. We love that doggy. Yeah. We love that dog. Okay. So here's another one here. Now, speaking of Epstein, let's just get down to it. Jim, because of this, we've seen a fallout from MGT. You want to comment on that? Because I think it's one of the saddest things we've seen in quite some time. And it's just hard for me, a hard pill to digest there. Do you think that's acting as well?
No, I think Marjorie's completely sincere. I believe in her. I believe in Thomas Massie. I think they're the two most outstanding members of the Congress. Jim Jordan still seems to be up there. Matt Gaetz used to be, but of course is no longer. No, I think Marjorie's kind of falling out with Trump was because she felt he wasn't being honest with the American people and wasn't acting in our best interest and is too differential to Israel. I agree with her on all of that. Trump has bent way over for Bibi, and it's pretty disgusting, all things considered. So,
well, you're right about that. You have some merit to that. And I've always thought if you're going to attack or criticize Trump, that's the Achilles heel. It's not how the Democrats have been coming after him of, racist, woke. In fact, this is how you do it right here.
I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America.
Wow. That was you could tell she was a little nervous too. That's hard to do. I don't think I could go through with that and say that too.
I'm with her. I'm with MTG on these issues, Dean. Not with the Donald, whom I supported with a lot of vigor for years and years. But the things have kind of fallen apart. You can't support genocide and be an American firster. That's all for Israel. You can't be attacking Iran and be for international peace and law and order. You can't be supporting Ukraine when Russia was intervening to protect the Russian, members of the Ukrainian that were in the Donbass that were about to be slaughtered by Ukraine. American people don't understand. We overthrew their government in 2014 because it was too friendly to Russia. This was Victoria Nuland. Now it turns out Ukraine was involved in blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline. That was a catastrophe for Europe, for Germany. But they get these sleazeballs, most of whom are Zionists, into these key positions. And now you got the German leader is betraying Germany and wants to go all out against Russia as our other European leaders. It's going to be a catastrophe for Europe, Dean, because Russia can wipe them out in a matter of an hour or less.
Yes, that's true. But sticking with Epstein, and as just another example too, as everyone's talking about Epstein, and this is going to be a long case, is so they're putting up surveillance where the feds monitor now. The federal government is monitoring your driving. But they also got rid of, officially, the Department of Education is no more.
President Trump took a significant step toward delivering on a core campaign promise to finally close the Department of Education. To shrink the bloated federal bureaucracy, the Department of Education just entered into new interagency agreements with 4 agencies: the Departments of Labor, Interior, Health and Human Services, and State. These agencies will now ensure the delivery of legally required programs while also refocusing them to better serve students. This common sense action brings the Trump administration much closer to finally returning education where it belongs, at the state and local level, not in Washington, D.C. The Democrats' reckless 43-day government shutdown did manage to do one valuable thing. It proved that America does not need a federal Department of Education. During the longest shutdown in history, the Department of Education furloughed 90% of its staff, and America's education system was not impacted whatsoever.
So, yeah, they got rid of.
Yeah,
they got
it's
rid
good.
of. Go ahead.
I don't
That's
have any
good.
problem
Okay.
with that at all, Dean. I don't have any problem with that at all.
Yeah. So what is? How does this going to? Are states going to get more money now to give to their own schools?
Well,
And is all that money going to
I
be
think he
saved
just
and
got rid of an administrative bureaucracy that wasn't doing the country any good at all. There are all the problems with education, however. The textbooks are really decided by Texas, their Board of Education. They decide which, because the publishers don't want to have different versions of different textbooks. So it's what Texas wants is what everyone gets, it turns out.
Jim, I'm not sure I would be where I am today if it wasn't for the Department of Education. I just want to go on record for saying that.
Tell us more, Dean.
I just don't know where you're getting all this jargon from. I just wouldn't be the man I am without that department. I just want to say that. Okay, so that's how I feel. But going back to this now, get this. This is just incredible. Here is senators, GOP, the Grand Ole Opry senators now warn Bondi not to slow walk the release of the Epstein files. This is something to be seen. Let me tell you about this, Jim, because this is just incredible here. Well, that's entirely true now. The GOP, the GOP, they're now telling her, don't you dare slow walk the public release of the records and documents related to the convicted sex offender. I guess he's convicted. Kash Patel doesn't think so. Well, Jeffrey Epstein, they're saying, following votes by the House and Senate just last night, and it was signed into law, the Transparency Act by Trump himself, right after we finished World at War late last night. Now, the calls come amid speculation that the Injustice Department may cite ongoing investigations and other reasons to hold back material or to cover for certain other people. Now, Bondi said just Wednesday that, quote, new information obtained by investigators had spurred the DOJ to reverse its earlier decision to close investigations related to Epstein. She said, oh, look, I just found it after all. I thought it was, I thought we closed it. Oh, gee, well, we might have to keep it going, meaning we can't release the files. Now, Democrats are warning that new investigations into high-profile associates of Epstein, such as former President Clinton, a.k.a. Bubba, and former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, could be cited as justification to withhold documents or videos of Epstein's mansion over there in Manhattan. Now, it's worth noting that some Republican lawmakers are warning Donald Trump and his administration that keeping back records, including possible footage of people who visited the Epstein properties, would be what they call a huge mistake. In fact, Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska over there, she warned the people that, quote, people who feel very strongly about this will feel like they've been duped if the Justice Department claims we can't release anything because we have an active investigation. I don't think that will help calm the suspicions many have harbored for a long while on this. Oh, yes, even Thomas Massey, well, he wasn't done talking about it. In fact, this is what he just said.
That is wrong. Do not let the Senate muck this bill up. And if you're a party to that in the Senate, you are part of this cover-up that we are trying to expose. I am sorry if one of your billionaire donors is going to get embarrassed because he went to Rape Island. That is what they have coming. In fact, they need to be on the other side of bars, a lot of them. Some of them will be embarrassed, but some of them need to go to prison, and the survivors know that. So how will we know if this bill has been successful? We will know when there are men, rich men, in handcuffs being perp-walked to the jail. And until then, this is still a cover-up.
Yeah, it's still a cover-up, but however, Kash Patel, the man who looks like he's been taken hostage 24 hours of the day, well, he said Jeffrey Epstein is nothing to be worried about. Can you believe it? This is a man who said it entirely the opposite before he became the FBI director, supposedly.
There's no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, the following Speaker of the House, Father of the Year, Mike Johnson, the look of disappointment cannot be even described or articulated better than, well, his droopy, sad face. Again, like we saw last night. Jim, look at this face.
Any reaction to Leader Thune seeing the bill without adding amendments or changing it?
I'm deeply disappointed in this outcome. I think I'm told I've been at the state dinner. I don't know. I was just told that Chuck Schumer.
It looks like acting to me.
And put it out there preemptively. It needed amendments. I just spoke to the president about that. We'll see what happens.
So do you think he may veto it? You say you spoke to the president?
I'm not saying that.
Is he supportive of it in its current form?
We both have concerns about it, so we'll see.
Yes, that seemed like acting, but it makes no sense. Not even Tucker Carlson can make sense of it all. Jim, let's talk about it. What do you think about this? Because are they going to slow walk it? Is it going to be released after all?
Well, they were really upset. I mean, the Speaker and Trump, when it sailed through the Senate, they wanted the Senate to pick up on all these issues, protecting the individual. They wanted to drag it out. They wanted to slow walk it. I understand they were furious when it just zipped right through. And of course, Trump's now already signed it. So the question is, how are they going to play the game to keep it? Trump does not want this out. He may claim he's not in there, but we know the opposite. Pam Bondi even told him, how many months ago, his name was all over the files. And there were probably 1,000 instances of the name of Donald Trump in those files. I understood they had hundreds of FBI agents going through to redact his name from the files. This is just beyond belief. And Tucker is absolutely right. They know there were like 1,000 victims, 1,000 victims, 1,000. And these are, I think, for the most part, these are young girls who were involuntarily sexually abused, and that constitutes rape. And Tucker's completely right. And you got Kash Patel saying there's no evidence anyone was what in the world? This guy's a calamity. He's a joke. He's ridiculous. Get the hell rid of him. Move the next guy up, and then move the next guy up. Get the job done. The American people are sick of this, Dean. They see through it, and they're not going to get away with it. I don't care if you've been a big fan. I've been a big fan of Donald Trump. He's not going to get away with this. It's over. He's toast.
But, Jim, could there be a reason why they're going the distance here because of covering this up? Because if anyone knows anything about Donald Trump, this is not what he would do. He's a man who is very classy with PR. He knows how to play the system. My point is, Jim, are we really talking about the real Donald Trump? And when I'm talking about, I'm not sure we're dealing nor referring to a man who is the real Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Let me make the case here because
look, I'm open to possibility this isn't the original. There was a report of this helicopter crash in 1989. They claimed he was replaced by double. He's the guy in the office, whoever he is. Now, I think there's some monster revelations here in the files they don't want out. Dean, I have been told the Pope is in there. The Pope went to Little St. James. The Pope. It's this kind of thing, Dean. It's
which Pope?
Blow
Which
your
Pope?
Mind.
Oh, God. Jim, I don't want to get struck by lightning. I'm in a rainstorm right now. We got to be careful here.
I'm telling you, it's on this order, Dean. There are monster names in there.
Wow. We have people speaking out about it. We have Rebel Mama on Rumble saying, I found out that Epstein took over from a guy named Ray, who was Trump's mentor back in the day. Guy was a freak that died of AIDS. I've never heard that before. Well, okay. We have Rosemary Mack over there on Rumble saying the following, I'm quote, I'm sure everything destroyed for the Clinton thing. Could be. People saying Cash is a bad liar.
He's pathetic.
I'd say so too. Here's what I think it is. Here's what I think it is. And yes, the damn rain. I'm blaming it on the rain. Okay. So here's what I think it is, Jim. I think the fact that Epstein is a Mossad agent, that they've gone all the way to protect Israel. And I think it's for the following reason, because Israel is willing to use their nukes now. That's coming out. And especially now when it comes to Iran. We're going to be forced into a war with Iran. And this is what Venezuela has a lot to do with it, Jim. I don't know if you're aware of this. People are beginning to speak about it. And I think that if more heat gets put on Israel, we're going to be seeing a lot of heat being put on us in the form of false flags, where they're going to blame the so-called radical left who did it. And this is what's now coming out. We have a former spy of sorts talking about just that, how Israel is going to force the United States into a war with Iran, or else the Samson option that people like, what's his name, that little dimwit, not Anton LaVey, what's his name, Mark Levin, are talking about. Well, here's what the guy's talking about.
The reason, though, I'm told, that Donald Trump decided to bomb Iran was that the Israelis said, for the first time, if you don't bomb Iran to take out these deep bunkers, we're going to use nuclear weapons. And they had never threatened that before. And so Trump said, bombing Iran might actually save us from the start of World War III if it keeps the Israelis from using nuclear weapons.
So according to your source, the Israelis told the president of the United States that if he did not use the United States military power to bomb the nuclear facilities in Iran, Israel, acting on its own, would use nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Do you see why there's a problem with that statement, John?
Yeah.
Because they've never admitted that they've had them.
That's right.
So you're telling me that they just admitted to the president of the United States that they have nuclear weapons, and we still do not have them in the IAEA treaty?
I mean, if Israeli nuclear whistleblowers are to be believed, yeah, they've had them. They started working on them in the 50s. They got him around the late 60s or the early 70s. Look at Mordechai Vanunu.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wasn't charged for treason for nothing.
That's the guy who they hid in Rome with the honeypot?
Yeah.
Yeah, 86.
Yeah. This is why JFK was at loggerheads with David Ben-Gurion, who was a founder and first PM of Israel. He wanted nukes for Israel, and JFK opposed. This is why they threw in on the assassination. They had one of the 8 shooters in Dealey Plaza was representing Israel. Others were representing CIA, the Joint Chiefs, the Mafia, the anti-Castro Cubans, the Texas oil men, the Eastern establishment surrounding the Fed. Lyndon Johnson himself had a personal hitman who murdered a dozen people for Lyndon, including one of his own sisters. I say this in relation to, we got the 63rd coming up here in just 2 days.
That's right. That's right.
So I mentioned these things about JFK.
Yeah.
So telling. But Israel has done a lot of dirty shit to the United States, Dean, and we should no longer let them get away with it. Russia and China are not going to let Iran go down. I guarantee you. Iran is bristling with offensive weapons. Do you know we sent B-52s down toward Venezuela and they turned out on the Venezuelan radar? So they were ordered to come back because the Russians have already given Venezuela the S-400s that could have shot them out of the sky.
Well, this is exactly what I'm saying. I think so. The Iranian bombing I think that happened where he called them ahead of time to say, we're going to bomb this, move everybody out.
Yeah.
And it was to save a greater catastrophe, because I think
Yeah.
the Israelis are so embedded in our country, from the chips in our cell phones to having the dirty bombs literally implanted in every major city in the U.S., that we're being held virtually. We're all kind of like Kash Patel right now. We're all being held hostage in a sort of kind of way. And I think that we have a lot of people who are fueling this. And one of these people is Ted Cruz. We have major U.S. senators, Jim, that are, you want to talk about sedition, you want to talk about treason. They make no bones about why they're in power. We had the former mayor of New York, Eric Adams, Mayor Boondoggle, going straight to Tel Aviv to do the Wailing Wall after his service was done and saying, I served you well. In fact, here's Ted Cruz talking about just how much they're in trouble with their Zionist cause.
This poison is spreading. There are pastors who love Israel who think all is fine, and my message to them is go and talk to the teenagers in your congregation. Go and talk to the 20-somethings in your congregation, because they're picking up their phone and they're watching TikTok and they're watching Instagram and they're hearing this message being driven, and it is resonating. And if you want an illustration of this, several weeks ago, J.D. Vance was down at Ole Miss at a Turning Point gathering, and one kid got up, asked this viciously anti-Semitic question. The most horrifying thing to me is what happened in the second later, which is the crowd erupted in applause. Not everybody. My guess is 20 to 30% of the kids there were applauding the viciously anti-Semitic question. A week or two later, there was another event with Eric and Laura Trump at Auburn University. A kid got up and said, I can do even better, and asked such an anti-Semitic question, it was filled with lies. Every word of the question was a lie, including and, but, and thee. And again, instantaneously, the reaction was the same. 20 to 30% of the kids began cheering. Now, here's the warning sign to hear. This was not a gathering at Berkeley. This was not a gathering at Yale. This was at Ole Miss and Auburn. These are a bunch of big old frat guys that are just looking to make a friend on Saturday night, who have heard the message. We are such a team. We're so polarized. We're so bifurcated, that what worries me is young people that get the message, oh, our team, we hate Israel.
Well, that's right, Grandpa Munster. I think he's onto something with that. They should be very worried about that, Jim. Jim,
Notice. He doesn't tell us what the viciously anti-Semitic question is. It might have been something like, why are you continuing to slaughter the Palestinians to take their land? That's what Ted Cruz would call viciously anti-Semitic. Look, it's much worse than he's suggesting there. Gen Z has been polled. 64% support Hamas. Only 24% support the IDF. And that's because they're seeing the slaughter with their own eyes. Ted Cruz is just a shill. He takes tons of money from Israel. He's completely untrustworthy. He's a propaganda asset for Bibi Netanyahu.
That is true. Jim, we have a break, but when we get back, Jim and I want to analyze what I see fit as the fake Donald Trump. We'll get Jim's take on it. He's an expert in this field, and he's a fair one at that. So stand by there. You are watching Real Deal Media live here with yours truly, Dean Ryan, with Jim Fetzer back again. So hold tight. We're going to get to that. And then we're going to analyze Princess Kate of Windsor over there and see if that's the true Kate herself, as we reported to you well over a year now. Feels like forever that she died a bit ago. So we'll get Jim's take on that, as there's just a lot of tomfoolery going on here. But stand by. You're watching Real Deal Media Live. We'll be back after this quick message. Some people who obtained some of these files and are familiar with the person who's familiar with the files, he goes under different names. Benjamin Netanyahu, as we know, is one of them. That's his first fake name. Benjamin Natia. Then there's John J. Sullivan. you know, the Skippy kid from next door. Then there's John J. Sullivan Jr., just in case you oust him. So can you imagine John J. Sullivan, the wild and crazy guy called John J. Sullivan, was doing nights on the town, probably with Gary Busey over there in Malibu. Upon further examination, they also examined the dual citizenship of Mr. John J. Sullivan. My man, John J. Sullivan. Give him a round of applause, man. What if he played saxophone at a local jazz club? My man, John J. Sullivan. So according to U.S. law, Netanyahu remains a U.S. citizen. I'll be damned. 1982, left his job at a furniture salesman position to be a policy advisor over there at the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. Finally, Netanyahu has an ally in the cosmetic dynasty, Estee Lauder. He was getting his grubby hands in Estee Lauder cosmetics. He was the guy at Nordstrom's powdering your nose. He's selling you furniture and hammocks. And when he's not busy doing that, he's putting blush, lipstick on you and grandma at the mall. This is we are learning so much, aren't we? We are learning so much. Unbelievable.
Admit this, we are now feeding our enemy. I mean, this has never happened in history before, and you have to ask why. And I don't want to hear this business that it's consistent with Jewish morality. It isn't. Anybody saying that doesn't know anything about Jewish morality at all. Oh, let me bring you back to October 1973, during the Yom Kippur War, when Henry Kissinger instituted an arms embargo against us. And what happened? What happened was an A-4 Skyhawk was parked at Tel Nof Air Base with some interesting weapons under its wings. And we told the Americans, take your eye in the sky and take a good look at the airplane that's on that runway. And the next day, the airlift started to Israel. The arms air.
So in other words, we threatened their...
We threatened to use unconventional weapons. I'll leave it at that. And so he said, is this what you want us to threaten now? I said, absolutely, except this time I want us to go forward with it if necessary. If they think we're bluffing, we go forward with it. Look, as far as I'm concerned, when we are faced with an existential threat, we have the right to use any and all weapons in our disposal to eliminate that existential threat. A lot of people don't know anything about nuclear weapons at all. What they are, how they can be used. And I'm tired of using euphemisms. I'm tired of saying, well, we have something, in the basement, but we won't be the first to introduce nuclear weapons in the Middle East. It's enough already.
That's the power of love. That's the power.
We are back. I'm feeling the love tonight. I'm feeling the love tonight. Aren't you feeling the love too, Jim? I think you are. I think you are. Okay, we are back. This is an incredible night of great discovery. I am your host here, Dean Ryan, as we are really reeling it all in from just a bombastic week of files, Epstein, ending of the Department of Education. I mean, how am I ever going to learn again without those people? To just the federales who just not only want their hands down your pants at the airports, they want to know how you drive. They want to be your driver instructor too. And if you don't do what they say, they want to arrest you and make up a reason to arrest you. That's what we're learning here tonight. But what you just heard there was more Mossad whistleblowers who are not necessarily blowing the whistle to give us the heads up, but blowing the whistle in a very braggadocious way, as if we don't follow them and follow their orders and directions, they feel threatened. They're going to bomb not only Iran, but anyone who gets in their damn way. So that's the energy that they're putting out there in the world and the universe. But joining me back is the one and only Jim Fetzer. Jim, it's so good to see you again after the break.
Gina, I like what you're doing, my friend. I think you're back in the groove. I like this. And yeah, Iran is prepared. Iran is bristling with defensive weapons they didn't have before. Iran only used 5% of their missiles against Israel before. If necessary, push comes to shove, Iran can wipe out Israel, wipe it off the map. It's never been their intent. They're the most peace-loving nation in the world. They've not launched a war of aggression against another state since 1775, before the Constitution was ratified. George Washington was elected president, but they're prepared. I guarantee you they're prepared. And they have this sack of SHI sitting there and saying, we're going to be willing to nuke anybody. His time is coming. Believe me, Dean. And yeah, I know the Samson option, but I've been told by people who know a lot about this stuff that they know how to detect where these weapons are, that they require maintenance, that they may no longer be viable, and that they may even have been neutralized. So, you know, you got to watch out. You let yourself be bullied and buffaloed by liars and phonies and frauds. I mean, that's what Israel has become. There may have been a time when it was a nation worthy of the world's respect. Well, that time is long past, long past. And when you got a pathetic sack of shit like Ted Cruz up there telling people to not let your kids look at TikTok, they're seeing the slaughter every day, 24/7 for years now. For years, we see people being blown to bits by Israel. These were people who represent no threat to them whatsoever, Dean. We know who are the good guys and who are the bad. There's no doubt.
Not this guy. Not this guy. He ain't fooling nobody. I don't care how much makeup he wears, Ted Cruz. You hear that?
That's a close resemblance, Dean. Close resemblance.
What, was this not him? Is this not Ted Cruz?
Yeah, I say
oh my God. That's
striking resemblance.
I'm sorry. I made the mistake. That is Grandpa Munster. I thought this whole time it was Ted Cruz. I'm so sorry, everybody. I need to get my glasses checked, Jim. I made a mistake.
Ted Cruz is a blowhard. I say if he told you what were these viciously anti-Semitic questions, you'd realize what a fraud he is.
He's protecting us, Jim, from hearing these anti-Semitic tropes. He doesn't want our precious ears to hear such things. He's just doing the job for us.
Right.
Okay. Speaking of which, speaking of frauds and fakery, I showed the following here the other night as I had just one of those small epiphanies, and we're going to get Jim's take on this. And this was from, I believe, Monday in the Oval Office, and we're going to see here. So the first one here we're going to get is, here we have the following, and maybe that's not the best, but here's a better one. What do we notice here, Jim, before I give any hints away? And I'm going to blow it up too, just so you can see it a bit better.
Well,
go ahead.
Trump does have at least one body double. He's got more silver hair than gold hair, orange hair. Well, what do you want me to look at? The hands look
Okay,
awfully
okay.
young. The hands look awfully young.
Oh, the hands. Let me do a close up on that for you. I noticed something about the hands, Jim. It really disturbed me. Here we go further. That's what I'm noticing. The hands don't have any prints, Jim. It looks like
Yeah, that's
that.
true.
Yeah,
It looks like they got nylon over them. There's something very odd about that. I agree, Dean.
Look at that. It's like gloves. Like that time OJ
they
tried to
don't
put
look
those
right.
gloves
They
on.
do not look right. That
No,
makes
they
me
don't.
wonder whether he's got a covering, a very thin flesh-colored glove over his hand because they're bruised or whatever. They're showing signs of his ill health. I think the guy's in bad shape. I think he's suffering from congestive heart failure and he wants to conceal it.
Okay, there's that reasoning. Now here's the other one here. Let's go to this one here. This is what
Now,
I noticed is
those appear to be real hands now for a change.
well, not the hands necessarily that I'm bothered about, but let's look
Yeah.
at the eyes, shall we? The
Yeah.
eyes are cinnamon brown, and I'm going to go do a close up on that. Okay,
Yeah.
here's the eyes. Yeah, those are not blue eyes, Jim. Those are cinnamon brown eyes.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's a different nose. That's a
And
different.
this looks much too young to be the real guy. This looks much
Yeah.
too young.
Okay.
You don't have all the wrinkles, the face, that skin is too smooth.
Look at the ears, though.
ears. The ears are a tell. You got compare
Yeah,
the ears.
those are fake ears. Fake ears. Yeah, those are fake
Maybe.
ears. I agree. Okay, so here's another one here. And finally, this next one is just from, I want to say, a week ago. Okay, and it's very troubling to me. So here's the next one here. This is from the Air Force One. Now, who in the world is this guy? Who is this guy?
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
these do look like body doubles. I agree. These do look like body doubles.
Yes, so they do look like body doubles, and
They do to me.
yeah. Let me try that one again here. So this is always it's always the Air Force One that I've noticed that this is where these things seem to occur. Let's try this again.
Yeah.
So yeah, a different looking look at the nose, different nose than the last
Yeah.
guy. Look at the eyes are different.
Yeah,
This is
I
not
don't
even
think
Trump.
The ears are the same either.
No, different ears, but look at the hands again. A nub.
Yeah.
There's no nail on there. There's nothing.
Yeah, very strange, Dean. Yeah, very strange.
So, Jim, I'm willing to say that I'm not even sure the real Donald Trump is with us anymore. Because I recall Trump 1.0, the first administration, the first term. I don't recall all these different looking Trumps in his first term. It was always
Yeah.
a constant same person.
Well, there were
And-
two. There were two. There was a silver-haired double, and there was
in the first term. In the first term.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. He's had that guy around for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, but this one is a variety of them. I mean, who in the world? I mean, you go from this guy. Okay, so let me just back to back. So you go from this guy to this
Way
guy.
too young. Yeah.
This guy to this guy. Look at the eyebrows and the nose. Very different nose.
Yeah.
Weird.
I agree, Dean. They're not the same person. They're not the
So-
same person. I agree.
Yeah. So I don't know what in the Hades is going on here.
Yeah.
And we could take that off there.
Yeah.
So
Good catch.
yeah. So we're not
Good
sure
catch.
either out there. We're not sure out there. Now, speaking of which, Princess Kate is in the news again, and you might have heard it's now her first public speech since her quote unquote cancer treatment. And let's check this out as the fluff piece that it is. But what we're looking for is to see if it's really Kate Middleton, another suspicious sighting right here from
listen, I thought Kate was the cat's meow when she first surfaced. I was very impressed. Charming. I loved her features. I loved her manner. I loved her style. Let me see what we got today.
Okay, so speaking of today, this is from the Today Show. This is a little puff piece, but again, we're looking for inconsistencies of who these people truly are. Here it is.
For the first time since beating cancer and returning to her royal duties, the Princess of Wales
that's not
stepped
her.
down on her own, delivering a
That's
speech
not her.
about her most important work, advocating for safe and nurturing
Yeah, that's not her. Look how
environments
skinny she
as
is.
early formative
Yeah.
years.
We believe that we must do all we
Well,
can
that is
to
not her.
create conditions
Yeah,
for
not
the
her. I
future.
agree. I
That
agree.
is how we invest in our future.
Well, this is such
week, addressing
bullshit.
a summit of top corporations, business leaders,
Yeah.
and social innovators here in London.
Go back. If you go back a couple of years when we had the real Kate, you'll see that this is a very different person. I agree. This
Yeah,
is
yeah, it
not-
is. I'm going to pull up a picture of the
Yeah.
original Kate, which they could scrub. They're going to try to scrub
I
these.
really
Okay,
like Kate, the original. This gal is unimpressive. Kate Middleton had style.
Yeah, okay, yeah, she did. She did. Okay, so here's the original Kate. Just so you know. Okay, so pay attention. Let me pay attention to the side profile of this one here. Let me go closer. Okay. Okay, so pay attention to look at the jaw. Look at the jaw on that one. Now look at the jaw on this one here. In fact, let me see if I could even take a snapshot of that. So this is the original Kate, supposedly. Here it is. So there's the original Kate. Different jaws. Different jaws.
Oh yeah, different facial feature altogether.
Everything. Here, let me go side by
I
side.
would love if you had some earlier where she's walking and talking. I mean, she was so photographed. I mean, I'm telling you, she was a smash. This latest person is not. I mean, not even close.
Jim's not impressed.
even
Okay,
close.
not impressed. And the eyebrows, there's something very different. The nose is a little different. See, she has a little bump on the end of her nose. The original one. This one has a. Well, I'm not sure what that is.
Different, but of course, women change that all the time. So.
Yeah, she's covering the face. So I mean, it's a good try. You can't. They're trying to cover up the true death.
The original Kate, I thought was even smarter looking than the one you're showing me as the original. I mean, there she's looking a little worn. She had a freshness about her. She had an intelligence about her. She just had a manner about her that was smashing.
Yeah,
So
she
you're gonna have
did.
to go back
Yeah,
and
she
have-
did. Here, okay, here's another one here. So, oops. You want a younger
wait,
Kate? You said.
Go back there. The one on the top, the second from the right, looked like the real one to me.
Oh, okay. This one here. Okay, so this here
Go
it is.
back.
Let's try this
I'm
one.
not-
I'm
go
we're
back.
going. Okay, like this one you're talking about.
Maybe.
So
I'm
yeah,
not-
very
no,
different. Very different.
No. That you had that multi
Okay,
photograph.
which one, Jim?
Yeah.
You tell me. Here,
Now there. Slow down.
here's the wedding
slow
picture.
down. There.
Okay,
This
yes.
one here in the center down.
Center down.
Way in the far right. Yeah, the far left.
There's the
and
wedding
far
picture.
right. Those
There's the
look
wedding
right.
picture. Okay.
Oh, wedding
You want
picture. Yeah, there you go.
Do you want
wedding
the
picture.
bathing
It's
suit
gonna be
picture? I could
perfect.
get you that one too,
Wedding
if you want.
picture.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the wedding, and just to remind people, this is where the controversy started. So she dies, and then they put out a sign of life with this fake
No, I
AI
know.
picture,
I know.
just so
Yeah, I
people
think-
who forgot. Okay, so
I
there's
think
that,
she
and then
was actually the victim of a sacrifice in December, 2 years ago. I think it was a satanic ritual, and they took her.
we were told that they gave her, which it could have been on purpose, as you say, for that reason, but she died by the miracle jab, and she was pregnant. And that's one of the
that
reasons
is
she died.
entirely possible. That is entirely possible. And it would
Here
have
we
been
have.
so shocking to the world that, Gene, that would make a lot of sense.
Here, let's see what the people have to say a bit. We have Michelle Drum, who is really on to this case and doing a good job, saying longer face. That's
The new
right.
one. Yeah.
Okay, good point. Here's another one. We have Tin Foil Glitter. What a name that is. Thank you, Tinfoil. Hair not even close. She's had the same hairstyle forever.
That's interesting.
Good point. Yes.
darker
Claudine
hair.
says she be replaced. My God. Yeah, she's been replaced. Let me go to Rumble. Well, we have somebody said wedding pictures. Yeah, you want to see the wedding picture? Okay, thank you. I'll show you the wedding picture. This is the wedding picture of, and to me, she totally settled marrying William, a guy who, speaking of longer face, what's his problem? Okay, so there's the original Kate.
There you go. That's the real Kate. Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
she looks lovely.
This is what made Jim a fan.
Lovely.
Yeah. Very, very similar to Jacqueline Smith of the Charlie's Angels era.
Yeah,
similar.
Somewhat.
Okay, and then this is supposedly the new one.
Even better, not the same. Not the same.
This is supposed to be what they're saying is the same. So there you have it. So we see a lot of fakery going on here.
Yeah.
Almost very similar to what we saw recently with this person here.
Yes.
Okay, the Erica versus this one here.
Yes.
So very different people, and I can't even. I mean,
this looks like Julianne Hough, absolutely, and the other.
I mean, Jim. I'm surprised they don't say this is Erica Kirkland at this point.
Yeah, I know, grotesque.
Sorry about that, everybody. Anyways, that's how that one is. Here's another question we have. Here's a question. Why though? What's the agenda? Chestnut checkers, recycle the blood. The agenda is Charles died, and so did Kate. And rather than dealing with the national calamity, which could tip over the populist agreement of getting rid of the royal family. See, I'm just losing my wits thinking about it. Getting rid of the royal family altogether. They rather protect the image and the royal throne by putting out these actors. And we've seen it with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We've seen it with the Pope, the last Pope as well.
Well, look at Joe Biden, for God's sake. We had a walking cadaver for 4 years who wasn't remotely like the real guy.
Here we have film. We have film TV. We have film TV biz on Rumble saying her facial bone structure is different. Can't change that even with surgery, at least known. I agree with that. We have Mr. Watland saying Melania needs more attention. Yes. I said that Melania is perfectly well and fine last night, everybody. But after second thought, I looked at it again. That did not look like the original Melania to me, who was over there in Saudi Arabia. Jim, do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't. Show me.
Melania was in Saudi Arabia. This just happened last night. Melania in a green dress, right? Saudi. Okay. Look at this right here. This is supposedly her just the past day. Okay, here it is. Now, this looks like a paint. This is not her, in my view. Have a look at this, Jim. This is what they're saying was yesterday, Melania Trump in Saudi Arabia with a stunning dress. Now, the dress is stunning. I agree. But to me, it doesn't look like her, Jim.
No, it doesn't. It's not her. It doesn't have that exotic. The eyes are all wrong. The eyes, I guarantee, are 100% wrong. She actually had some cosmetic surgery after she was introduced to Trump. She had some cosmetic to get this distinctive look she has. This is not Melania.
We have people over there on Rumble saying that the hairline is way off. That's Rebel Mama saying that. We have Film TV Biz who knows a thing or two about cosmetics, saying that the distance from the eyes to the chin is
sleeker figure too. She doesn't look like this body wise.
We have Tone Jack on YouTube. I think Tone Jack, you're absolutely right. Looks like AI. It looks like an AI photo. I agree with you on that. Okay, here's another one here. Here's another picture from Saudi Arabia of Melania, because I take it back. I didn't get this right. Now, is this Melania? And is this really the Donald? This is supposedly in Saudi Arabia the last 48 hours. What do you think about that, Jim?
I don't think that's Melania, but it looks more like her. It's more like her than the other one.
Is that really Trump?
That's a stunning dress.
Yeah, is that even really Donald Trump, though?
I don't know, Dean. I'm telling you, we're being played every which way these days. It's unbelievable.
I know. I know. I believe so too. And just to circle back real quick, because somebody brought this up the other night, is to look at the hands of the man behind Donald Trump. Very good point. Okay, that is some kind of Illuminati signal. I haven't figured out what that is. I'm going to try to look
Over on
over
the
it over the
right,
weekend.
looks
On,
like
on
he's
our
giving
right.
a finger.
No, so when they're doing like these things here,
Yeah,
there's certain Masonic meanings, like
yeah,
don't
yeah,
tell, we're not telling the truth.
yeah,
When they do stuff like that, I haven't figured out what it
yeah,
is yet, but you can play at
yeah.
home. If you want to play at home, let us know. You could be the winner to 3 days at Mar-a-Lago with the fake
Yeah,
Trump and fake
notice, yeah,
Melania.
he doesn't have the fingers put through the way you normally would. Notice you got the two fingers together with no finger in between. Then you got the one protruding at the bottom.
So, but so if it's somebody who's playing Trump, wouldn't they? How do you have prosthetic hands? Is like, so if I have long fingers, they must make
Yeah.
prosthetic hands where, my hands are extended
Well,
artificially. I don't know how they do it. It's
the
something else,
Charlie
Jim.
with the Erica with Charlie Kirk in the casket, that wasn't Charlie, it was a mannequin. I mean, she was praising, fake hands that were too large to be Charlie's.
She was
but-
praising. She was
Yeah,
praising fake hands.
It was ridiculous.
She was praising. Something that's not fake are these legs. Look at those legs one more time. Those aren't fake. Okay. All right. Just want to throw
Those
that out
are
there. Okay.
impressive.
They really are. Those are not fake by any shot or any measure. But that leads us to, we've reached that point now. Final thoughts. Yes, it is that time of the night for our final thoughts. I have this next dance too, sponsored by givesendgo.com/realdealgo. Well, it's time for final thoughts, and to take it home and take it all the way home is Jim Fetzer with our final thought here for Real Deal Media Live. Jim, give it away.
I think Ted Cruz and other traditional politicians are very upset because the younger generation is not so easily played. The other generation is looking at the evidence, realize Israel isn't worth shit. They're slaughtering all these innocent Palestinians that steal their land. And for Trump to say that they're making vicious anti-Semitic remarks when he won't tell us what they are, blows his cover, tells us the whole thing is a fraud. He can't even tell us what they said because it would be so damning. And he's there to protect Israel at all costs.
What? Yes, makes you think. Anyways, we're going to leave it there. Okay, everybody, on that note, we're going to take it home and close the night. Thank you for joining us. I will be back, I believe, Sunday. Sunday, we might do a Sunday brunch. I'll discuss with Jim after, and we'll see if he'll attend or his clone. We're not sure but one of them. You saw his clone earlier. He made an appearance. So we'll see. Yes, and he might wear the green dress. We're not sure. Somebody will. But on that note, for Jim Fetzer and all of us here at Real Deal Media, I'm Dean Ryan saying thank you for sharing a bit of your night here with us. Till next time, always remember to stay tuned and stay awake. And we'll see you soon. Good night, everybody. And maybe we'll see you Sunday. Good night.